Food can now freely move within Lloydminster thanks to the new food trade pilot. The Lloydminster Chamber of Commerce is administering the 2-year program and want as many local food businesses to take part as possible. The Chamber held an information session with provincial and federal officials to help explain the new pilot project. Lloydminster elected representatives along with the Chamber have been advocating to reform interprovincial trade and reduce red tape for a while now. The hope is that once the pilot project ends, permanent changes will be made to federal food regulations.
For a company like ours at Lloydminster Co-op, we could produce sandwiches at our grocery store and we cannot retail them outside of our gas bar on the Saskatchewan side because of interprovincial trade. And so the pilot program was intended to reduce that red tape and allow us for a competitive advantage within our city.
The olive tree feeds people there. And were able to accept donations from the Alberta Food Bank, but not the Saskatchewan Food Bank. So now they're going to be able to do that. So this is a big deal, and it's the first step on trying to normalize business as much as we can.
For information on eligibility and to apply to take part in the pilot, head over to the Lloydminster Chamber's website. 2 flags were raised at Jack Kemp School today, celebrating Treaty 6 and the Métis culture. The flags were raised in the gymnasium of Jack Kemp School among the flags of Canada and others.
This is very important to our school, our students at Jack Kemp, our school, our reconciliation path here at Jack Kemp. We've done a lot of Indigenous things, but we have not brought in as much Métis stuff, so it was really important to us to raise our Métis flag because it is the homeland of the Métis, and bring in more cultural Métis things to our school.
To celebrate the flag raising, Métis elders attended the event while informing the students on Métis culture and ideals, while students of Métis heritage donned their traditional clothing for dances to Métis drummers.
I like going to Saskatoon and dance there, and go near Thunder Trail and also dance there. The reason why I'm dancing is because my nana recently passed away. Well, not recently, but like just a year and a half ago. And the reason why I'm dancing is because I'm dancing for my nana.
Faculty of the school board was there as well to celebrate the flag raising. The flags represent Treaty 6 territory and the peoples of the land. Members of the community gathered last night for an evening of art and creation at the Lloydminster Museum and Archives. Guests entered the museum with the goal to learn all about the symbolism and history behind henna in its first henna workshop.
It's basically a hands-on workshop where you learn everything about henna. We start about learning its origins, its history, its symbolisms to what is henna, how do you prepare henna, where does it come from, what are its variations, to how to practice with the designs on a safe space where you can make mistakes and then you actually get to try to make your own beautiful design.
Through henna, guests were brought together and celebrated themselves along with the art.
It's mostly today used for celebratory purposes and bringing people together just to celebrate life, joyous occasions, and create something beautiful, as well as feeling beautiful.
To register or learn more about the museum's programs, you can go to lloydminster.ca/register.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Welcome back. Lakeland College has been named one of Canada's top 50 research colleges. Our Zach Kenny has more.
So I'm here with Dr. Paradis on how Lakeland College has ranked 33rd for research in all of Canada. So Dr. Paradis, what does being a high-ranked research college mean?
Hi, Zach. Yeah, thank you for having me today. It's a great pleasure to speak about this honor to be on the top 50 research colleges list this year. Perhaps you in addition to being 33rd. Perhaps just as impressive is we also rank 19th overall for research intensity. And this really is the amount of funding per researcher that we have. So that's another great ranking there. So this recognition is really a testament of to the college, for the investment that they've made in applied research and also for the supports that they've provided. It's also a great testament to the investment from the federal and provincial government that we've received over the years. And it's really a strong indication that our leadership values research, not only to improve the profitability, productivity, and sustainability of our agriculture industry in our region, but also its value for student training and learning experience. And I think it also speaks to the excellent team of scientists that we have with faculties and research support. And in that regards, our research capacity has expanded significantly in the past 2 years. So we've gone from 2 scientists to 6 scientists plus 2 faculty members. So finally, I think it's also a great indication that the work that we do is valued by our industry, right? So this ranking was based on research funding and partnerships. And so all of the projects that we do are conducted in collaboration with other post-secondary institution, government scientists, and with industry partners and producers. We perform a lot of on-farm research. And so, and our findings are communicated through extensions and knowledge translation event as well. So really, it shows that the industry value the work that we do.
Excellent. That's amazing. And for the second question here, what are some of the projects that possibly have led to this achievement?
Yeah, that's a great question. The ranking were based on a number of factors, right? Including funding levels, a number of faculty, scientists, research staff, and students involved in research, also number of partnership and number of the projects. So these rankings are based on 21 projects that were conducted and industry research contract as well that we did in the fiscal year 2021. So some of the examples includes research, regional variety trials and co-op trials, where we're one of the provincial site that tests new variety of pulses, special crops and cereal to determine which one grows best and produce the best yield for our region. We also test, various. So we also had a project on pea root rot to try to identify mitigation strategy to help farmers deal with this disease in the field. On the livestock side, it included projects on livestock feeding and feeding strategy. So, for example, we know that feed is the largest variable cost for beef cattle producer. So identifying winter feeding strategy, for example, to reduce those costs through swag grazing of different forage blend can be really valuable. We also had a project on a garlic supplement to test for its effect or its insectifugal effect, and also to see if it affects feed intake. And some of the preliminary results that we have shows that it actually increased feed intake. So that could be a great means to improve feed intake of sick animal, for example. And finally, we also had some projects on precision ranching, which is essentially using the new and upcoming technology to monitor livestock herd. So that can include, GPS tags, cameras, UAVs, drones, and things like that.
Wow, that's actually amazing. Absolutely outstanding. And for the third question, what does Lakeland College specify in a single field? Do they have a single field of research, or is there a lot that all goes together?
Yeah, so our applied research team is focused on commercial agriculture, both on the crop side and livestock side. So we have 3 scientists plus 1 faculty members that are working on crop and cropping practices. So I've already given some example of the projects, but what we do work on crops that are of value of Alberta producer, of course. So this would include cereals, pulse and special crops, as well as more recently, we hired a new canola scientist who's working on a canola research program. So in the crop side, our research is focused on agronomic research, which includes testing new variety, as I've mentioned. We do a little bit of weed management, disease management, testing fertilizer. We know that fertilizer use, the federal government is looking at, reducing fertilizer use in the next few years. So, we're looking at strategies to reduce that and improve greenhouse gases emission.
Thank you so much for coming on to the interview with me, and thank you so much for answering all the questions.
You're welcome. It was a real pleasure, and thank you for having me.
Reese Andrews has events taking place this weekend in this week's edition of What's Happening.
This weekend, we're back with a fan favorite, and that is the service-free ice skate happening at the Leisure Ice at the Service Sports Center. This is happening every Tuesday through Sunday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And it's a great opportunity to just get out of the house with the kids, the family, and whatever it is, and just enjoy the ice. Even if you don't know how to skate, feel free to come down and connect with the community and have some fun. For more information and a full list of dates and times, visit www.lloydminster.ca/serviceskate. For all my art lovers out there, the Lloydminster Museum and Archive is hosting an art social this Friday night. For anyone wanting to join, it's only $6 and there's no experience needed. You can come out and connect with other artists in the community and just let your creativity run wild. There's also a complimentary tea included, which is hard to pass up. For more information, you can go to recreation.lloydminster.ca. If you're looking for something a bit different to do this weekend, the Lloydminster Museum and Archive is hosting a new exhibit, Health in Space Daring to Explore. This exhibit uncovers the challenges that astronauts face while up in space and also the challenges they face when coming back down to Earth. There's plenty of interactive activities and videos to keep people of all ages engaged, and it's definitely something you should check out this weekend. The museum is open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Saturday. Stay healthy and check out Lloydminster this weekend.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
This week's entertainment panel breaks down this year's Oscar nominations.
We are joined here today in studio, as always, with the beautiful Abby St. John for our entertainment panel. Thank you so much for joining us today, Abby.
Of course, I wouldn't miss it. Like we say every week, this is the best panel of the week.
Yeah.
And it's, it's great. So I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm really excited. We got a lot going on, and this is probably going to be our main topic.
Yeah.
This is a big one. And you've probably seen a lot about it online, but we got the Oscar noms. And this is the 95th Awards.
Yep.
Pretty big for 2023, so really excited for when this comes up. But lots of talk on all the nominations and whatnot, so I think it's going to be good to focus on that. But so far, I kind of wanted to start off with talking about like the Best Picture category.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the Best Picture, of course, it's one of the most important ones.
Yeah.
You want to know which, out of every movie that has been on last year. It's always exciting to see which was the best of the best. So the nominations for the Best Picture for this year's Oscars is All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, Triangle of Sadness, Woman Talking, and I'm not going to mention this after this topic, but Top Gun Maverick is also nominated. There's no real chance of that winning,
Probably
so
not.
that's all good. If it does, I'm not going to be too impressed. But what people are talking about that has the most potential of winning is The Banshees of Inisherin and Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yes.
Those are, I think, the two frontrunners for Best Picture, which is, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Crazy original concept, amazing editing style, amazing directing. I think that I would, in my opinion, put that as the front runner. Of course, something could sneak up behind them and take that from them, because there's always those kind of like surprises and shocking moments that happens when you think something is a shoo-in for winning, but it doesn't. But I feel like those two are the front runners for Best Picture.
Yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once also had a very good, and of course, you know, with a lot of these movies, they had a lot of original ideas, but that one was like almost like a refreshing look at like a new multiverse idea that's outside of, you know, Marvel or DC or whichever, like superhero movies. This was like a new idea, and it's so wholesome. Like, I always tell you, like, how much I love that movie, especially in like the performances, and it's so wholesome and heartwarming, and at the end you're like bawling your eyes out, and those actors in it deserve everything they got.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
And they Best Picture wasn't the only category that they were nominating. They were nominated in I think at least 11 categories. They have supporting actor with Ki Hu Hwan, actress Michelle Yeoh, which she is a front runner to win that category. She's up against big names, so but she, I think, is one of the front runners for that category. Supporting actors Jamie Lee Curtis and Stephanie Sue.
Knowing that it could have been possibly Awkwafina that was in that role, but instead she got it, and she was a little bit more like, some people probably know her, but she wasn't like as up there. She did an outstanding performance, and I'm so glad to know that she's been nominated for something, and they're just getting that recognition, because she had an amazing, even audition. When you can see her tape, it's wild. Absolutely.
Moving on to Best Actor, that's also another huge category that I think we need to talk about. The nominations for that: Austin Butler for Elvis. Obviously, he's one of the front runners for it.
He's stuck in that role still. I mean,
he can't get rid of the voice, which is borderline annoying at this point, but that's besides the point. Colin Farrell was nominated for Banshees of Inisherin. He's also a front runner. Brendan Fraser in The Whale is a front runner. He was expected to win the Golden Globe for it, but Austin Butler did. So they're kind of going head to head in this category as well. And I think, you know, Brendan Fraser, he was, you know, shunned from Hollywood for the longest time for unfortunate and awful reasons, and he deserves this comeback, and he's really proved himself in this comeback. He's a phenomenal person, phenomenal actor, and he deserves all the recognition that he's getting.
Yeah, and he's getting lots of love online, which is great to see that he is seeing that love, because, you know, he probably, you could tell from his facial expressions and everything that he had no idea that he was seeing that much support, and then now that he's back, everyone's just here for it.
But the front runners definitely are Austin Butler and Brendan Fraser. Out of all of them, those are the two that are, I think, going head and head. I think Colin Farrell could be a surprise win, but who knows? Again, we'll see, but Austin Butler and Brendan Fraser are definitely the front runners. Best Actress. Now, Michelle Yeoh is nominated, and she is a front runner, but there are some actresses in this category that could come up. Kate Blanchett being one of them for Tar. Ana de Armas was nominated for her role as Marilyn Monroe in Blonde, very controversial movie.
If she would to win, that would be definitely disappointing.
I think it's more of a filler nomination. I don't think she has, against who she's up against, I don't think she has what it is to win. Andrea Riseborough for, and then Michelle Williams for The Fabelmans, and then Michelle Yeoh, of course, for Everything Everywhere All at Once. She's the front runner for it. But I think I mean, Michelle Williams, she's fantastic in pretty much everything she does. So that also, kind of like Colin Farrell, that could be a surprise takeaway, but I think at this point in time, Michelle Yeoh and Kate Blanchett are neck and neck for it, and I think Michelle Yeoh deserves this. I hope she wins this award, and I think she is one of like the main front runners for it. Now, something, of course, we need to talk about, because we're huge Marvel fans, and of course, we can't talk about a movie panel without
and then
Marvel.
This is, and honestly, like, for this awards, like, this is big news. Like, this is like
and
a first.
Superhero movies don't get nominated for Oscars really at all, unless it's for like visual effects. But Wakanda Forever, Black Panther 2 had some very, very awesome nominations. One being, and I hope she takes away with it, is Angela Bassett as Best Supporting Actress. She won the Golden Globe for it. She's a front runner for this, for the Oscars, and I think she is deserving of it. Lift Me Up, the original song by Rihanna, she's also nominated for Best Original
Beautiful
Song.
too,
which
like,
is,
my gosh.
Yes, like you said, it's a beautiful song. They're nominated also for costume design, visual effects, and makeup and hairstyling. Of course, if you've seen the movie, even if you've just seen the trailer, the costume design, the makeup, the hairs, I mean, it's fantastic. So
I love it. So I'm really happy that we are seeing these nominations and really being able to see like how this is going so far.
Yeah.
But be prepared. It's going to be a good it's going to be a good award show.
Yes, I agree.
Stay tuned. We'll have more for it once it comes on.
Yeah.
But that's all the time we got for this week's entertainment panel. So once again, thank you so much for joining us today, Abby.
Of course, thank you. Welcome back. The Lakeland Rustlers women's volleyball have a record of 13-1 and are the team to beat for the ACAC championship. The team since the start of the new year has a perfect record, not even losing a set during that time. Austin Dyer credits the Rustlers' success on their bench minutes.
Our second side, or our B lineup that plays against our starters every day, they're potentially an ACAC playoff team on their own. And so, just understanding the impact that our B side can have in terms of pushing our starters.
The team has retained a majority of its players since the 2020 season. Both chemistry and age are important factors to their success.
If you have a team of 22, 23-year-olds playing against a team of 18-year-olds, that's a big gap, and that's a lot of difference in training hours. Putting in a full post-secondary season versus coming out of high school and playing in your first or your second year, those are two completely different things.
The team's next hurdle is a game on Friday, February 3rd against the Concordia Thunder. And now for a look at local cattle prices, here is Thomas Wildman with the Cattle Report.
Thanks, guys. Let's take a look at the market report for the week of January 22nd to January 27th. Here at Northern Livestock Sales in Lloydminster, there was 3,155 head on offer. For slaughter cattle, young cows were in range of 95 to 110. D1 to D2 cows were a range of 90 to 98. D3 cows were 70 to 85, and mature bulls were 125 to 140. And now taking a look at feeder cattle, feeder steers from 900 to 1,000 pounds, a range of 225 to 235, 800 pounds to 900 pounds for 235 to 250, 700 pounds to 800 pounds for 250 to 265, 600 pounds to 700 pounds for 265 to 295, 500 pounds to 600 pounds for 290 to 315, and 400 pounds to 500 pounds for 315 to 325. Then looking into feeder heifers from weight of 1,000 to 900, they were a range of 180 to 210, 800 to 900 pounds were 200 to 220, 700 pounds to 800 pounds were 215 to 225, 600 pounds to 700 pounds were 220 to 230, 500 pounds to 600 pounds were 230 to 245, 400 pounds to 500 pounds were 250 to 265. And so that's going to about do it for the cattle report this week. It's a bit of a shorter report, but once February begins, we're going to have a lot more to talk about, as we're going to be talking to lots of producers who are having their production sales into February and into March. There's going to be lots of other different topics that will be coming down the road into February, March, and into the spring. So that will about do it for Primetime Local News. I'm Thomas Wildman.
Now let's take a look at your egg prices.